Hello everyone, this is Yin Yoga at the Yoga Space. If there's any problems with the sound or anything, then do unmute yourself and let me know, but otherwise hopefully I'll just talk to you at the end of class. So tonight's class is going to be about shoulders and hips. What else is there really? So all those tight places, shoulders and hips. So in Yin Yoga you want to feel a little bit of sensation or a little bit of tugging, but you don't want to be in pain. And because we're in the poses for so long, you don't have to go into the full pose to start with. So if you do want a little bit more tugging or pulling, you can go towards the end of the pose. And then sometimes people say to me, oh, I don't feel anything. So also equally, you don't necessarily have to feel anything because it's still working on the soft tissue and the fascia and all the internal organs as well. So if you need something for your knees, a blanket underneath your knees or something, you're going to start with the knees wide and the pelvis down. I like to have a cushion for my head because my hips are stiff. So if you can't get forward, it's better to bring the head up than lift the pelvis up. So we're going to slide. Let's start with the left arm coming underneath and the left ear to whatever support you need. If you can get it straight to the floor, then do. Have the knees nice and wide so you feel a little bit of tugging in the groin, and then right arm behind you. So it's a soft, gentle twist, and the left shoulder is opening, and the right shoulder is lifting. So if you can get the right hand all the way down to the left thigh, then do. You can just tuck the left fingers in. And then take the first few breaths to arrive, settle. And focus a little bit more perhaps on the exhalations. So once you've done your wiggling around, then try to come to that stillness and softness. So you're breathing into the back body. And wherever you're feeling a little bit of sensation and tugging, encourage the breath into that place so you can soften a little bit deeper in. Let go of any grips around the pelvis. So you can just feel the wave of the breath in and out of the abdomen. Allow the chin to drop down a little bit so the back of the neck is long. And rest the right arm either on the sacrum or all the way round onto the left thigh so the right shoulder's opening. And go ahead and close the eyes if you want to. Sink the pelvis down. So feel the ebb and flow of the breath. So without forcing the breath, just let it arrive into any of those tight spots. So over the 2 or 3 minutes that we stay in the poses, especially if you can let go, all that tight tissue will hopefully release, soften, make a little bit more space. So when we're stretching muscle, it'll open up maybe in 30 seconds or so. But the fascia and the soft tissue around the joints needs a little bit more of encouragement and length to open and soften. Especially if you've got an injury. Maybe go a little bit deeper now, extend the left arm a little bit further forward. Take a full deep inhalation. Let all the air out of the body. Sink the left shoulder, sink the pelvis more. And then just let the right arm come forward for a few breaths. Keep the armpit open if you can. And then use the right hand to help you lift the head first. Turn the head towards the front. And then ease yourself up. Take a breath at the top. So there's always like that little moment at the end of a yin pose where you're not sure who you are or what's happening. And then we'll do the other side. So left hand down, right arm underneath, right ear to the support, and then left arm behind you. So notice the difference between the two sides of the body. If you can bring the left hand all the way to the right thigh, then do. Release the right shoulder fully down, tuck the chin in. And lift the head rather than the pelvis. So try to have a weight in the pelvis. If you need support for your ankles, you can put a blanket underneath. It's hard to rest on the ankles. So I should have said that at the beginning. And then settle into the ebb and flow of the breath. So just notice for yourself where your attention is. Try to bring your mind to the body. So mind has a tendency to float around all over the place, usually to the same places. But you use this practice to just find a sense of connection of mind and body. So you can bring the focus and attention to the places where you need it. Maybe in the left shoulder that's opening a little bit more now. The right shoulder that's dropping a little bit more. The breath in and out of the body and the weight of the head and pelvis. So wherever you're holding on, maybe even in the fingers, let gravity help you. Use the weight to come in deeper, softer. One more deep inhalation. Exhale fully, sink a little bit more into it. And then just extend gently the left arm forward. Take a couple of breaths here till you feel the left side body opening. Left shoulder releasing after being behind. And then use the left hand to help you turn the head to face the mat. Ease yourself back up. Move the whatever support you've got and slowly bring the knees together one at a time. We have been there for a while, so try not to slide the knees together. And then let yourself fold forward onto the front of the mat. So release the knees, release the pelvis, rest the head in hands or onto a support and have a little wiggle around. Just undo that pose. So let the breath come into the abdomen, backs of the legs broad. Any sensation just receding. So I'll just show you this next pose before we come into it. So left arm is going to extend left shoulder to the floor. And then we're going to turn the feet, oops, kick your cushions out of the way, turn the feet towards the left if you can, so you feel quite a tugging into the left shoulder. Bring the right knee up so the right groin opens. And again, if you need support for your head, then bring the head down. So make sure that the shoulder, the arm is in line with the shoulder when you roll over. So it's not down or up. If it feels enough just to roll and bring the knees together, then do that. If you can turn the right hip open, then please do. Make sure you rest the head down. And then if you want, you can just rest the right arm. If you've got your balance, you can rest the right arm or even encourage the right thigh away from the right hip. Or if you need to, just keep a little bit of balance and keep the right arm down, but try not to bring any tension. And then relax the buttocks. So notice when I do this pose, I kind of grip on a little bit in the buttocks. See if you can let all that go and let the soft tissue around the right femur head just release. Quieten the face. Make sure you're not gripping on in the left inside thigh, the left buttock, the left side of the pelvis. And then if you want to push with the right hand a little bit more, and open the left shoulder a little bit more. If it feels too much, then back off. You always want to go to the place where you can just feel it without too much sensation. And then you use the breath, use gravity to go a little bit deeper over the time we're in the pose. Got plenty of time. So Yin is also a very good practice to just learn a little bit more about yourself and your body. And let go of any ambition to be in a certain pose. And just notice where you can soften. Notice the parts of the body that resist, or even the parts of the mind that resist. So we are coming towards the last minute or so now. So if you want to go a little bit further, you can send the right knee further back. Even lift the right arm up. If that feels too much, then just come back to where you were. One more deep inhalation. Exhale fully, check where you're gripping on. And then roll, ease yourself, take your time. Ease yourself onto the front of the body. Really take your time because that's quite a stress on the left shoulder. And then if you can, bring the arms behind you and rest the right ear to the mat. So you feel the difference between the two shoulders and the two hips.
So maybe the left shoulder's got a little bit more contact with the floor.
Take a couple of breaths. And then when you're ready, right shoulder, right arm extending. So when you roll over, you don't want to be lifting the front of the shoulder off the floor. So really just take a couple of breaths to soften the right shoulder down. And use your left hand to roll you over. And you can look down at your legs and see the knees are level. And then bring the left knee up if you're doing. So again, use the left hand if you want to support you, or just take it behind you, head resting down. So very tight place at the front of the right shoulder. So just go as far as you feel that first little tugging. And just enjoy a few breaths there before you encourage it to go a little bit deeper. So no rush. Or you might just want to stay there for the 3 minutes. If you want to go a little bit deeper, then just take your time with the breath, no rush. Left knee opening a little bit more towards the right side. And buttocks relaxing, especially in the right side. Quieten the face. Maybe you can go a little bit deeper now, but again, don't force it. Just go to where you feel slight little bit more tugging or not. Keep checking in with the breath. It's your biofeedback. So we are coming towards the last minute or so now. So if you want to extend the left arm up, just feel like you're hanging from the ceiling. Even bring the left arm a little bit more towards the right. Or just leave it down, whichever feels right. Or use it to support you. One last inhalation. Exhale fully. And then ease yourself back. Sometimes you feel like you're 100 years old after you've done a yin pose. And then rest with the left ear to the mat, arms behind you. Pelvis relaxing. You should feel both shoulders resting fully on the mat. With lots of space at the front and the back of the shoulders. So when you're ready, just come back up to kneeling. Can everybody still hear me, by the way? Just put your thumbs up if you can. Yeah, I assumed you could because you didn't let me know. So we're going to come into a version of Anahastasana. So it's a little, again, if you need stuff for your knees, ideally, you can keep the toes tucked under or not. The arms are coming forward. Normally, we bring the chin forward in our hands. That's melting heart pose, the back of the body to the front of the body. If you want to bring the head down, if you want to feel the shoulder blades dropping down towards the mat, if you can keep the elbows off the floor, then do. Now the shins want to grip here, so try and relax the shins. And again, if you need to bring a blanket underneath the shins, then do. Pelvis is high. It's a very funny looking pose. So bum's in the air like you're wagging your tail. And again, if it feels too much, just move the arms back, but try and drop the back of the body towards the front of the body and just keep checking in with your shins. And you can play with bringing the chin forward or the head down. And then just do that every so often with the head coming down. And drop the shoulder blades down. And use the exhalations to release the back body to the front body more. If that all feels too much, then bend the elbows and bring the crown of the head to the floor. You can equally get the armpits open and the chest coming forwards and down. So depending on the space you've got in your shoulders or the resilience you've got for the 3 minutes. And then settle into it so the rib cage is coming closer and closer to the mat. So if you've got one tight side, which I have, probably feel it more in that side. So try and drop and soften through there a little bit more. And then keep playing with lifting the head. If you've got your arms folded, you might want to try to extend them again. And then just check you're not gripping on in the shins. If you go back to folded arms, bring the other arm in front. And then just settle in for the last minute or so. Keep checking in that you're relaxing the shins, so you're not putting a lot of weight into the knees. So if you've got your arms folded, just extend them forward again now. One breath here. Exhale, soften that last exhalation. Release the head down. And now come forward onto the front of the body again, just to undo. So however's comfortable, you rest the head in the hands. And have a little wiggle. Any sensation in the armpits or shoulders, let's let that go. So for this next pose, you might need a cushion or a folded blanket, something for your knee. I quite like to have it, or for the inside thigh. So if you don't need it, then that's fine. So we'll stay on the front of the body. Just going to bring the right knee up to the level of the right side pelvis, and then turn the body so the front body is on the floor, and extend the right arm out, right ear to the mat. Just wiggle it again, wiggle around until you, So you will have a bit of the right hip coming up, that's fine. So it might look like you've got a big bum, but don't worry about that. But you want to try and let the front of the right groin open, and then turn the right ear to the floor. And then settle the inside thigh down. Relax the left leg. So now you can encourage the breath into the right hip, the right groin. If this is one of the poses where you're not feeling anything, you can always bring the right knee up a little bit higher. Or drop the right side pelvis further down towards the mat. If you're feeling something, then just breathe into it. And use gravity to release. Check you're not gripping on in the right ankle. And let go more and more in the right side, inside thigh. A little bit like a lizard lying in the sun. Sometimes 3 minutes can feel like a very long time. But just trust and know that I will bring you out of the pose when the 3 minutes are up, or 4 minutes. Try to focus on letting go. And notice if you are thinking about the time, where the resistance is. And dig in a little bit deeper to stay. Right shin heavy, right ankle heavy. Breathe fully all the way down to the right side pelvis. And see if you can drop the right armpit down a little bit more. Or a more deep inhalation. Sink a little bit more on that last exhalation. Now, as we come out of this pose, you're going to leave the right knee where it is and just turn the head. Lift up. So try if you can to leave the right knee where it is. Left arm's coming forward, and then right arm is coming all the way over towards the left. So now we're into a twist. So the right shoulder might not come to the floor, that's fine. Just let it soften over the 3 minutes. So allow the weight of the right shoulder to drop. If you do want to bring a cushion underneath it, then do. If it's really far off the floor, if it's not that far off the floor, just let it release. Left knee should be on a support or the floor. Sorry, that's your right knee. Right knee on the floor still. And then breathe into that nice deep twist. Heavy right knee, heavy right shoulder. So allow the right shoulder to drop away from the right knee and the right hip. Use the exhalation to sink a little bit deeper. Maybe the right shoulder a little bit closer to the floor. Soften into it a little bit more. Last few breaths now. To let everything drop a little bit deeper. One last inhalation. Exhale fully. And now just lift the left knee to the right knee. Slide onto your left side body and just rest onto the left side body. Just feel yourself resting like you're in a sleeping position. And when you feel you're ready, you can just ease yourself back onto the front of the body. Bring the cushion for the other knee if you need to. And then again, lie onto the front of the body. So just have a little wiggle around for a few breaths. And then when you're ready, sliding the left knee up, level with its own pelvis. Bring a support if you need, and then turn the body back to the mat. So the front of the right thigh is fully on the mat, and extend the left arm forward. Then you can turn the left ear towards the mat and rest down. So just feel that sense of resting in this pose, like a lizard in the sun. Left armpit, left groin opening, right thigh, right front of the hips softening. So just check you're heavy in the left leg. So you're not holding on to any grips. Allow the left side body to sink more, even though it might be a little bit lifted off the floor. Front of the right thigh softening more. And rest the face as well. So mouth soft. Breath full towards the left groin. On the exhalation, sink a little bit more, soften a little bit more.
Just notice any grips you're still holding on to, especially around the left inside thigh, the left groin. Full soft breathing. One more full deep inhalation. And a long exhalation to release fully into the pose. Take your time to lift the head. And now leave your left knee where it is. Slide the right arm forward so you're on your right shoulder. And then left arm coming behind you. So again, the left shoulder might be off the floor, that's fine. You want to just get that sense of twisting through the body. Right arm can rest on the left leg. And then if you want, you can look over your left shoulder. And then start to soften into the twist. So use the first couple of inhalations and exhalations to let the left shoulder be heavy. Left knee be heavy. Inside thigh of the right leg releasing. So see if you can allow over the time of the pose for the left shoulder to release, the left side ribs to soften. So it's amazing how much closer the left shoulder will come towards the floor over the time you're in the pose. So you just allow it to release. Let the left fingers be soft and rolled gently up. So again, if you have got a side that is a little bit stiffer, when you're practicing at home these poses, you can always stay for an extra minute on the stiff side. And eventually you'll hopefully even yourself up. Keep investing in the breath, in the softness in the body. And just that idea of letting go. So we hold on to such a lot of stuff all the time, especially in the hips and shoulders. So this is your opportunity to allow yourself just to let all that go. Undoing, softening. One last inhalation. Exhale fully. Sink that last little bit. And then take your time to ease onto your right hand side, both knees up, and curl up like a baby onto the right hand side. And then when you're ready, you can just roll onto the back of the body with the knees up into constructive rest. So feel now when the arms come away from you, how much space you've got in the shoulder blades. Feel the legs heavy, feet heavy. Take a breath into the abdomen. So extend gently the right arm up above the head. And then roll over, bring the left arm to the middle of the back. And then the right arm down behind. So it's almost like you're going to do Gomakasana. So now when you roll back, you're lying with the left palm on the mat or the floor, and the right palm towards your own shoulders or neck. So you're lying on both arms, and then open the armpit of the right on the right side. So right shoulder, right elbow should be on the floor, and then fold the left leg over the right. So you can stay here with the left leg. If you want extra, you can just let the right knee fold towards the floor, but I think that's you've probably got enough contortion going on. And then settle into it. So even though the left arm is in the lumbar area, try to drop down. If it feels really uncomfortable and your left arm is too long, then just move it a little bit further over, or take the hand a little bit further up the back. And then settle into it. Relax the face, relax the legs. Feel the weight of the pelvis even from one side to the other. And with the head resting on the forearm of the right arm, the right armpit should open. You can keep your left foot lightly flexed. So go on opening the right armpit. Feel that tugging almost along the bicep as well. Let the right elbow rest on the floor if it can. Full deep breathing. So last few breaths here. Now just let's bring the left leg back first, sorry. And then slowly ease the left arm out, right arm out. Release both arms out to the side again. Take a breath. And roll a little bit towards the left side. Bring the right arm just a little bit up the back. Left arm down the back of the neck. So when you roll back, it's like you're doing Gomakasana, but you're not taking the bind. And then settle yourself back again. Have a little wiggle around until you feel can't exactly say comfortable in this pose, but until you feel settled, drop the shoulders down. If you can get the left elbow to the floor, then that's great. And then fold the right leg over the left, lightly. So the ankle is over the thigh, and lightly draw the knee away from the hip. Soften the face, and then feel that little tugging in the armpit up towards the bicep. Chin down a little bit, so you're not gripping on. And really let the weight of the head help to open the armpit. It's a nice place now on the back of the body to feel a little bit perhaps deeper breathing into the abdomen. Not to force it, but just to find especially the length of the exhalation and gravity. Just check that both sides of the pelvis are fairly even on the floor. Just notice you can let go a little bit more now, soften that last little bit more. One more deep inhalation. Exhale fully. Bring the right foot back to the floor. Just ease over till you can release the right arm, then the left arm. Come back to constructive rest. And just take a few breaths to feel that settling of the shoulder blades, the settling of the hips. And then keeping the arms out to the side, bring the soles of the feet together and the knees apart. So the lumbar will want to come off, but just soften the navel back. Smooth out the face. So keep those people that just came to the previous class, we had that connection from finger to finger across the wingspan. So feel your wingspan from the middle of the shoulders out to the ends of the fingers, but in a soft way. So if it does feel too much on the knees or the groin to have the soles of the feet together, you can always turn the feet the width of the mat and bring the knees in. But if you can, stay with the knees apart and just let the weight of gravity bring the knees a little bit deeper. So stay here for a few breaths now. So again, with the back of the body on the floor, feel a full abdominal breath. So this will be our last pose before Shavasana. So see if you can fully invest again back into the body if you've lost that connection. So if the mind starts wandering off, just bring the attention back to the breath, to any sensation, to the idea of releasing and letting go. Last few breaths here now. And slowly draw the knees up. You can bring the hands underneath the thighs to lift the knees up, back up towards the ceiling. And the hands now just resting beside the body as you extend one leg, then the other leg. And just come into Shavasana. So very little sensation now in the body. Just the feel of the breath, the ebb and flow of the breath. Breath comes in, breath goes out. And just the sensation of softening and sinking. And hopefully the spaciousness now that you've got in the body, and perhaps a little bit of release in the mind as well. So maybe there's a sense of well-being or just being present. And then as you melt every single cell of the body backwards and downwards, come fully and deeply into Shavasana.
Slowly start to notice the breath in and out of the body again. Make space between the fingers and the toes. Maybe just let the head roll one side, the other side very heavily. Fold the legs up one at a time. And then bring the hands back onto the belly so you feel the breath again. Roll onto one side. And then come back up to sitting. Maybe blink the eyes open and close a few times to wake yourself up a bit. Bring the fingers into a little mudra. So you feel that lift of the chest. Inhale deeply. Bow forward, exhale fully. Turn the palms down. Namaste, everyone. Hopefully your hips and shoulders will feel like I can hardly move now, but never mind. I'll just turn the recording off. Yes.